For the past 30 or 40 years, 192 has been a lot of this stuff. T-shirt shops, tourist traps, people that were visiting Disney and Universal that needed somewhere else to go in between park days. But it's starting to change, and I want to show you guys kind of where it is now, where it's been, but more so the billions of dollars that are being spent to revitalize this entire area. For those of you not familiar with 192, it's a 15-mile long strip up and down Kissimmee. It's got over 1,800 little shops, 30,000 jobs, and there's a whole development authority now putting a lot of money into enticing developers to completely redo this area. So let's start with some of the big projects coming to the 192 area. They just redid that hotel, that CVS is new, Arby's is new, all of that whole thing. Right behind there, you got a new Starbucks. They completely redid a rundown motel and turned it into like a nicer area. So 7 years ago, we moved here, and I remember thinking how beautiful Celebration was. It was the only place that we knew, so that's where we moved. We knew Disney and Celebration. And then I would ask people like, hey, so where do you go shopping? And they're like, oh, just over on 192. So I drove out there, and it's only literally a block away, and I'm like, this can't be it, because it looks nothing like Celebration. It's a tourist trap. There's hotels, motels, some of them not the greatest. There's actually been movies around people that live in the hotels. There's t-shirt shops and just little things that you just wouldn't expect based on how nice Celebration is. And so over the years, there's been the new development authority that's trying to completely change all of that. I would figure that like as soon as we move out of Celebration over to Winter Garden, that they would start adding a lot more stuff within Celebration, by the way. So I don't want to say that the bubble isn't like a great place to live, because I think it gets better and better as time goes on. There's Celebration Point right here, which Unicorp by Chuck Whitall, I interviewed him not too long ago. They just opened up this place where you've got Walgreens and Publix and a Pilates studio and Stretch Zone and Domino's Pizza, just like a little bit of everything retail that you're not going to need to really leave Celebration to actually get everything that you might need. Fun fact, originally this whole area was going to be a Dave & Buster's. I'm so glad that they opted to not bring that in, because really that would have been just bringing more tourist traffic instead of giving Celebration another amenity, which they really needed. So I think that they won in a big way for Celebration with this new shopping center. One of the massive developments coming on 192 is actually pretty far west, over by 429 and 192. This is going to be Everest Place. It's a 224-acre development that's going to have a little bit of everything, from medical all the way to a Nickelodeon resort and everything in between. They're gonna have a resort style kind of higher luxury all the way down to that mid-tier hotel that's really needed for this area. Now there's a whole lot of very expensive hotels, the Fairmonts, the W, the Nobu, that are coming to Orlando, and I think that's definitely needed, but more of a mid-tier beautiful resort is also needed so that we're hitting all price ranges for people visiting our area. I think something like this is going to help elevate the entire experience for people that own short-term rentals in the area, or if you're just coming to visit. It's interesting the way that they're actually chunked down 192. The Development Authority has sort of like the entertainment district, the residential district, the shopping district. And so instead of just trying to take 15 miles worth of road and make it all look the same, they're trying to chunk it down so that you know once you're entering the entertainment district or the residential area, like some of the neighborhoods we just showed you, that you know where you're at and sort of level up this little area. And I think that by chunking it down that way, they can get a lot of the businesses all to work together with one another instead of trying to get what might be 1,800 different business owners all on the same page, if that makes sense. And so I think it's working, especially towards the west side of 192, where you can see a lot of the development really starting to take place. 192 has always been a tourist attraction, and a lot of the neighborhoods around here are a lot of that. You've got some of the most prolific neighborhoods in Orlando right along the 192 area, and Margaritaville is one of them. You've got the resort right behind me, but that leads over into the condos and the villas. Properties range from anywhere from $250 all the way up to the multi-million dollars in this area. You also have older neighborhoods that are super popular, like Windsor Hills. You've got over in the West Side area, you've got Windsor West Side, Solera Resort, and all of those are feeder neighborhoods into this 192 area. People from all over the world are buying houses right up and down this area to typically use for a week or two, or maybe a month out of the year, and then rent them out the rest of the year. Right across from Margaritaville, they've got World Star, which just kind of went over. It just really kind of tightens up this whole area of what people need when they're vacationing. You've got Portillo's, you've got walk-ons, you've got all these little ABC liquor, and right through there you could see Animal Kingdom. So how close you are to Disney. If you're looking to buy a house in this area, I think it's proximity-wise pretty fantastic. The more some of this stuff gets torn down and replaced with things like this, the better all of 192 is going to be. The other thing with the Development Authority, they're actually collecting a lot of money from the state and the federal government to redo this area. So you'll notice that they're actually coming up with like a pattern book to get rid of some of the tchotchke sort of purple-ish vibe that they've got up and down here, which I think is going to really help. But one thing that they've come out and said that they're not going to do is help expand 192, adding more lanes. And as you can see here, we've been stuck in traffic for the past 10 minutes. That's probably the #1 downside about 192. There's really no slow time of day where you can get up and down it really, really easy. And so although it's really convenient to everything, you've got I-4, 417, 429, all the way down to 27. It connects to everything, but it is a slow go when you're going up and down the road.
I.e. this shot right here.
Dun, dun, dun. We're just 2 miles away from Celebration down the road. And I remember when this was announced, I was like, there's no way this is going to do as well as it has. They've already sold out 4 phases here at Magic Village. There's almost 500 condominium/townhouses that are operated by Wyndham. And they're gonna have a food hall over here, retail, and really try to redevelop this whole area from here all the way down to the Celebration area. And so when you see a lot of people investing from all over the world in this spots like this, it really makes you stop and think about what's coming to 192 as we start going down east in the area. Now there's plenty of other little neighborhoods that have been here forever and little hotel, motels. There's got the church and like the little retail that's really been the same way it feels for the past 10 years. And so as this billion-dollar development finally comes to fruition, it'll be interesting to see how that changes everything else surrounding it. One of the main things we have an issue with up and down this area of 192 and really in Central Florida is affordable housing. And so right behind Magic Village, they're gonna be putting up 700 new apartments, and they're supposed to be specifically for affordable housing. And so hopefully we're gonna get some of the people that possibly do live in the hotels and the motels in the area to be able to find home in the rentals in the area. So it's good to see a mix of the international investment for short-term rental, but then also the people that live here, that work at the theme parks, that work at the restaurants and retail in the area actually have a place to call home as well. I think that's massively important for a healthy area. Along 192, there's plenty of redevelopment opportunities, a lot like this one. There's 77 acres sitting right here across from Celebration, right next to I-4, that's just asking to be redeveloped into something amazing. Thankfully, this is under contract, and I think it's going to be another amazing opportunity for somebody in the near future to redevelop about what 192 will eventually be. And so if you're looking to move to Celebration or you wanted to invest anywhere up and down 192 or anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Email me info@positgroup.com, and we'll see you guys on the next video. The last one on iDrive was actually what?
We're keeping it.
We're keeping it? All right. All right, then we're done.